Hello friends, this podcast is with a really special friend of mine and someone who's been hugely important in my life over the last few years especially. It was a spur of the moment podcast, and so I didn't get the settings down properly as far as the recording of the audio goes. So I recorded through my computer instead of the microphones. Managed to have a good friend, Stephen, fix the audio up for me, which was fantastic and really appreciate it. So it sounds a lot better now. However, there is a little bit of lag in the audio to visual, which I'm sure will be fine and you'll all be able to manage with. You can also just listen to the audio as well if you like. You don't have to watch us while you're listening, of course. I really hope you enjoy the podcast. Rati has a tremendous amount of knowledge when it comes to the subjects of sound, healing, yoga, and they are the main things we spoke about in this podcast. So yeah, please enjoy, and I'll speak to you again later. Bye. Hello everyone, welcome to Adrian Snary Unlearning, and today I'm very honoured to be joined by the one and only Rati Riccardi. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
That's good. Good, thank you. So ever since I started, I met you shortly after I first started doing these podcasts, but ever since I have met you, Rati, I've wanted to have you on here, so it's like just an absolutely huge honour to have you here today, and yeah. Thank you for being on it. Really do appreciate it. Rati's been a very, very important part of my life since we first met. She came into my life at an absolute crux period of my life, shall we say. And ever since then, just our relationship's just turned and blossomed into something that's been very fulfilling, definitely for me, and hopefully in some way for you as well.
Yeah.
And Rati's also a woman of many, many talents, and one of her great gifts is definitely with sound and what she does with the sound as well. So we're going to have a bit of a chat about that today and see where the conversation takes us from there. So Rati, perhaps you could tell us a little bit about your journey with sound and its meaning for you, please.
So it was a bit sudden how sound started playing a big role in my life. As I mentioned to you, I just used to do some singing in church when I was really young, and I moved away from church quite quickly. And then by working with meditation and sound was used as an accompaniment of meditation, and I just felt compelled to start to learn certain songs that had a vibration that resonated with my being, or that produced an effect on me as far as a sense of peace or calmness, or maybe moving some emotional feelings inside. And I started exploring and learning different songs in different languages. I have a background as a linguist, as a translator and interpreter. So. And
you're Italian by origin?
Italian.
Yes.
And I can feel the vibration of the different languages in connection with sound, and mainly it came from listening to what this vibration was provoking in me, and trying to convey that for other people.
Sure, but with your own essence and your own input into it.
Yes. Of course, when I learn new songs, I haven't explored writing my own music yet, but I can feel it's coming.
Sure.
Very challenging, but all the songs and the music that I learn obviously becomes very customized and personalized with my own experience, and I have become more and more sensitive to the various aspects of sound, so that obviously transpires in what I do in different ways.
And so when you've come upon a song that really resonates with you, is it something that you're able to like click into gear fairly quickly?
Yes.
Like then, okay, this is how I hear it. And it doesn't matter what language it's in, but then you're able to say, okay, now this is what I'd like to do with it, and how are you able to do that?
I don't have a clear vision of what I would like to do with it, but it moves something so profound in me that I know that I can take it and transform it and use it.
Sure.
And then the effect, I cannot tell you what I want to achieve. It's not clear, but
sure.
Definitely, as we will probably talk about more in detail, different pieces of music have different ethos. Which is a character, a peculiarity that can move certain things within the self. For example, like a major scale has like a happy, sort of joyful connotation, while a minor scale will have a more romantic, sad and a certain melancholic quality to it. So
which is just as powerful as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. So depending on what it is that you want to evoke, you will use a different piece of music, different scale, different.
Sure. And is that also dependent on the situation you're in as well, and what you're doing at the time? Like a certain song you might play like at one time, you play it a month later in a different setting, in a different circumstance, and
yes. And obviously, sound is something that has an impact on our body, on our mind, on our brain, on our hearts. So, and we're always different. We're always in movement, in development, in evolution. So we are never the same.
Sure.
And every time we hear the same song at different occasions, it will have a different effect. Although it might, bring back some memories from the previous time, and obviously that is also an aspect to be considered.
Yeah, it's really interesting that, isn't it? How like a song can really bring you back to a moment in time that might be like 10 years beforehand or 20 years beforehand, and like even, but not just a memory, but also a smell. I can bring up smells and tastes, and it's quite powerful. And it's really like I see sound and music as like a form of information, like a technological information that it's like almost like a software, I guess, that gets like positioned into you at any given time, and then all the energy behind that and the memory behind that is then remembered. It's then instilled into you again, which can make it a really powerful experience, especially for people who are like using it to undergo like some sort of way or path to get past some sort of blockage or some sort of traumatic experience in their life, or whatever it may be. The sound, the song can really help with that. With that ability.
Definitely.
And so with the you sort of discovered that with the meditation, using sound and the importance of that. Was it long before after that you decided, okay, I want to look at not only just doing this for myself, but like for those around me? And what was it like was it like a process that?
No, it's definitely a process. And at the beginning, it wasn't really clear. It was just part of what I was doing, and just started exploring and finding. That I felt really in tune with certain instruments, with certain sounds, and then I met a lot of people that were working with sound, and especially a very inspiring human being who lives in New York, and I have invited to come to Perth, and I'll be very, very honoured to host him. And so he has an incredible knowledge, which sometimes makes me feel really small.
Sure.
But it's been very inspiring with his work and with the knowledge that he shares. I've done some webinars with him, as well as some sessions in the States and on Skype. And I've learned a lot. And it's almost brought light to what I already knew.
Right.
Like I knew
Sure.
that some things can be done with sound, and but I didn't know the explanation, like why and all the details, and so it was really really inspiring to go into depth.
Sure. And like, especially to learn from someone like him, I mean, that's the best way to better yourself or learn is just to surround yourself by people who are smarter than you. So I guess, you know, but without looking at it as you're not worthy enough, of course, but it's just really an amazing experience about to learn from someone who's like obviously spent a lot of time doing this. Yeah.
And obviously, you know, so I have tended in my growth, in my personal growth, to put people on pedestals and stuff. But I don't do that anymore, and I totally see that my angle of working with sound is yet different, because I incorporate other aspects as well, like energy work and so it's
constantly evolving for you though as well,
like, absolutely,
which is an important aspect too, isn't it? Not to like remain stuck or stagnant in only one way, you know, but to like constantly look at other influences and incorporate them into what you want to do. Yeah. So moving into you know, with the people that have, like, I can tell from experience, like your music is just amazing. Like, you know, what you're able to convey really does allow, it's just like, I guess it creates a space, I feel like, for people who, and of course this is for anyone who's has the ability or absolute gift to be able to experience something like what you're able to do. You know, it really provides, I guess, space where you can feel held, but really bring about a lot of different emotions and thoughts and lots of different things. So has your understanding of that also changed over time, like what you're able to achieve and what other people are able to with, I guess, is the word? Yeah.
And the main thing, you know, we can all appreciate ambient music, and I think most of what people offer as in sound healing is actually a sound immersion or ambient sound experience.
Sure, something that you just hear.
Yes, and that has a certain effect on your physical body, on your mental body, on your spiritual body as well.
Sure.
But what has really brought a new angle is to really empower the listener, the receiver of the sound, with making a difference for their own experience.
Sure.
And this can be achieved by coaching the listener to be able to find certain aspects of the sound, be aware of certain aspects like overtones and the spaces in between the overtones and the modulation, the various aspects of the sound, so that the contemplation and concentration on these items allows for disengaging the negative patterns that we currently have in our daily life.
Sure.
And allowing for a new feeling, a new state of being, a new awareness to come into place and replace those negative patterns.
Yeah, so like we spoke a little about before, but even if it's just for a period of time, like just for a short stop where they have that break where something new can come in, and it's something that if the person wants to and they want to look into it further, they can look at achieving in themselves later on. Hence, they're giving them the empowerment to really do the work on their own. Yeah. Exactly. And so it's really, I guess, like a state of getting yourself out of the way as well, like with your work to an extent, like with your music, to be able to, okay, this is what I enjoy, this is what I enjoy doing, but this isn't me, this is something flowing through me, like this is, Terence McKenna will again call it like a form of technology flowing through you. So if you perhaps interrupt it, and it's like we're all human, of course. Whenever something flows through us creatively, like there's always going to be that aspect of us that comes with it as well. But I think what you do amazingly well, and what you're looking at doing even further, is just really getting yourself out of the way further, so that the pure essence of what you're trying to portray or push through is fully heard by the person.
Exactly. Yeah. And ultimately, you can reach a space where nothing exists but the sound, and so the sound is important, but what is important is the place where the sound can take us.
Sure. Yeah. And where do you feel that is, Rati?
Well, a state of ecstatic bliss, where there's no attachment to emotions and thoughts and feelings,
right.
which is what we are capable of, and we can then look to achieve in our daily life with our sadhana, our personal practice.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, and even on a physical level, I guess, can't it, as well? I mean, if we're, as a physical body, we're energy condensed, in forms of sound, and and it's something that is an intrinsic part of who we are as human beings. So it stands to reason that just like gravity affects our bodies, that also sound
exactly.
Can affect our bodies
There's
as well.
a science called cymatics, which studies the effects of sound waves on liquid, on matter, actually. Okay. So there's experiments with water, but also with more denser liquids like oil and with sand.
Yeah, I've seen the sand ones as well.
Yeah, so you can see all these incredible shapes. And given that we are 80% water, definitely sound has an impact on our physical bodies as well. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, it's just like a sound wave carrying through. I know, like, I've witnessed, like, so during the summertime I install pool covers, and like each pool cover needs to have like holes drilled into the ground, and when I'm drilling into the ground, I've got like my hammer action on my drill, and the drill it's going through the paving. Sometimes it doesn't happen all the time, but the dust that comes out up from a hole forms like a geometric shape, and it's all to do with, and it changes depending on the speed of the drill as well, depending on the drill bit. Yeah, I find that really, really fascinating. Yeah, there's lots of like work being carried out into that. I find that really interesting, like how it can really affect us, not just on a mental state, which we're all aware of. Music and sound can make us feel happy, elated, sad, where it may be, but we've never, for the longest time, we haven't really paid too much attention to the physical aspect of it as well. And I don't know if I was talking to you about, I can't remember, but even looking at sound to help with healing and...
Absolutely. There's incredible studies around also, critical illness like cancer, where sound waves can kill cancer cells. I don't have the deep data with me, but I have seen lots of interesting videos about it.
And that's something they're looking into at the moment, is it? Like,
yeah.
Have you ever seen the, I don't know who it was or where I heard it, but there's a theory anyway that the way a lot of those large megalithic structures, like the pyramids for example, were actually built through sound. Have you ever heard of that before? Like
no, but I can totally understand if that is possible.
Yeah, I can understand it too, definitely. I can understand the premise behind it. I can't theoretically, of course, understand it, but because using a sound wave to manipulate another bit of energy, that's all it is really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whether it's a water molecule or a 20-ton block of stone, it's just the same thing. So it's just, I guess, finding that the resonance needed to be able to accommodate whatever it is that object is, and whatever it is that thing looking to be achieved is. And I guess, like you said, like when we see with water or sand, it actually does create something. It forms something out of something else. It stands to reason we could do the same with massive structures as well. And I think that's what's with So what this work, what really interests me about this work is there's a spirituality behind it. There's also a science as well. And that's what I find it's really interesting, where it's like a melding of the two, where through our understanding of science and light waves and sound waves, but also with that spiritual slant on it as well, we can really discover a way to bring forth something new, almost like continually to create something new, and perhaps also remember something that's gone on in the past. Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah. So when is it like the working with music? Like, do you have I have a feeling nobody else is going to get to this, but do you have like a goal you want to achieve with this, or somewhere that you want to go as far as your capabilities with it, or just?
Well, I definitely want to explore writing music. So I will have to delve into some spaces that are new to me, as far as what it is that I want to convey, just by maybe analysing the sounds and the music that resonates with me, and all the music that I have learned, and whatever it is that gets touched inside and then gets shared.
Yeah.
So that's something for sure, and also just it just works really well together with my energy work. It allows to create a state of deep relaxation where all healing happens, and so I will definitely continue to explore how to combine these two worlds and bring about as much empowered healing as I can while I'm here.
Yeah, good, fantastic. Yeah. And something I'm also really interested in, and you partake into like yoga, and you're a yoga practitioner and teacher as well. And I've been in yoga classes that do and don't use music, and I've never really understood. Like, it's definitely a different feeling, I feel like a different outcome in a class where there has been music. But yeah, I've never really sort of looked into why that is. But yeah, have you ever thought about like the understanding that music gives or sound gives when you're doing something? Like, for say example, I know perfect example when I'm lifting weights or going for a run. When a song comes on, it really energizes me. It gets something flowing through. I guess initially through my mental capabilities, which may then release more adrenaline or whatever it might be. But on a yogic perspective, how do you see sound as being?
Yeah, well, I guess there could be different angles to it, and depending also, there are so many different styles of yoga practice, and for most people, yoga practice is really asana practice, and there are so many more aspects to to yoga.
Can you please explain asana to?
Oh, the asanas are the postures. Right. So let's say that the Westerners focus mainly on the physical practice. I have noticed also the pranayama, the breathing, which is a very, very important aspect, is often relegated to a short time or even nothing.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Yeah.
All considered, I think sound could be employed in many different ways. Usually, I don't use sound during the class. I tend to use it maybe at the final relaxation, which is another very important part of the practice, and it should be. Yeah, Shavasana, so the corpse pose, and final relaxation. It should be as long as long as the session has been. So let's say if you have done an hour and 15 minutes of asana practice, then you should have at least 7 minutes of relaxation. So it's dependent on the amount of exertion that you have performed.
Sure.
So definitely sound is helpful in final relaxation.
Okay.
I'm not so sure about having sound during the practice. it can, it can definitely live in the situation and also probably help with focusing the mind. Although I tend to ask people to focus on the breath, and that's enough. That's plenty. So it could also be a little bit, distracting.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's all doable. It's all possible. You just have to really feel into what it is that you want to offer in the yoga class.
Can we go back to the Shavasana? That's something I'm really interested in. I've had some, I have had mystical experiences during the Shavasana period, during that 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and even experiences that have actually taken my life in a whole other direction, which would be a topic for another podcast. But I've always got there's this thing of frustration that comes up when I see people leave, because where I practice yoga, people have the option to leave. With one teacher might say, okay, if you want to leave, please do so now. Or another teacher will say, okay, just get everyone straight into it so there's no opportunity to leave. What's your take on the Shavasana and the importance of it? Because it's, for me, I just see it as wildly important, and I can't, perhaps you can help give me a comprehension from those who, it's really, I guess, to me, I feel like it's those who sort of struggle just being with themselves and sitting with themselves. But if you've been doing yoga for an hour and a half before that, shouldn't that be quite straightforward?
Absolutely. I'm very strict and passionate about Shavasana. It's the most
blissful too.
It's the most important part of the practice.
Definitely.
Even if you do pranayama, an hour pranayama, my teacher told me, if you can't do relaxation Shavasana at the end, don't even bother doing pranayama.
Well, isn't that what the whole purpose of pranayama was for, yoga was to get people ready for a meditation?
I guess there's a lot of different different benefits and different angles, but pranayama, the stillness in the one posture, whether it's cross-legged or lying down, is the essence of yoga. Yeah,
that's what it's all about.
Yeah. So I used to do Bikram classes, and I was going 3 times a week and really enjoying it. But I never understood how people don't lie down for at least 10 minutes after it, because it's ridiculous. It's like you lose most of the benefit of your 90-minute class, it's like,
and I guess,
why bother?
I guess it just takes it from being a real holistic experience to just a purely physical one, doesn't it? Which is still good, it's better than nothing. If people come there and do some stretching and some movement,
for sure,
that's all fantastic, but the whole premise of yoga is to be able to embody so much more than that. And so it's like that saying, it's greater than the sum of its parts. So when you incorporate both the physical part of yoga plus the Shavasana at the end, what you achieve is something greater than the both of them combined.
Absolutely.
And that's something that's really gets missed out on.
And also, on a physical level, the body needs to repair and restore, and that's the time that's devoted to that. And then, as you mentioned, the fact that you can have a deeply spiritual experience is not uncommon. So, I'm really, really, conservative about Shavasana and final relaxation.
Because I guess it's one of those things, even if you do yoga for 20 years and you only get one experience out of that, but that one experience during that mystical experience during that Shavasana could really be a life-changing, life-altering thing. I I'll briefly speak about it, but the first time I ever did any sort of energy work, or it was with a very, very, very valued friend of ours, who both know, named Aisha. It all came about because of a 10-minute Shavasana where I just really got this understanding, or it was more of a message that I need to do something with this other person particularly, and that's really set a lot of our lives off in a different direction. And if I had got up straight away after the yoga had finished on that occasion, then I dare say my life would be in a different position to what it is now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And let's not forget that deep state of relaxation is where all healing happens.
Sure.
The body and the mind cannot heal unless they touch that space.
Right. That's that recovery period. Well, I guess, in our busy society and the way we are now, we don't really ever give ourselves time to rest, and feel like, I mean, I still struggle with it. If I'm just, even now, like just sort of, not now of course, but like in present day or whatever, if I'm sitting, like sometimes this thought will come to my mind, like, oh, I should be doing something, like, like, what am I doing? Yeah, I know you do, yeah, and it's like a little trick of the mind, really, that's all it is, and I think just allowing yourself to be at peace and just to be silent and present, it's vitally important, but we, as a culture, we find it difficult to do because there's no space for it, We grow up like continually learning, and I think it's probably worse now because we've always got this information continually bombarding us to look at this or do that, especially for children, and children go to school and it's like, okay, you got this class and you get a recess break, you go run around, come back to class, blah, 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 finish school, go run around some more, do whatever, and it's very rare we teach children, therefore become adults, that know how to just be still and be present. Yeah, absolutely.
And then that's also why all these healing practices are so popular now, because people need to go and see someone to give themselves that time and that space to fully relax.
Yeah.
If we all knew how to do that, we probably would need a lot less than that. But
that's that thing to being able to actually, I think we think sometimes like, oh, if I take 15 minutes out of my day to meditate, that's 15 minutes that I won't get back, and I could be doing something else. But
that's the whole point.
That's the whole point.
Don't do that.
Yeah. And it's that term. It's like, what is it like? Yeah, something like the busy, I'm paraphrasing this, but like the busier you are, the more you need meditation, do you know what I mean? Or like the more, so not just meditation, but just the time to, sit and relax. If you that's one, if you're too busy to meditate.
For half an hour, then you need to meditate for 1 hour.
You need to meditate for an hour. It's like, it's so true. And it goes against everything we understand of like this linear way to live, of like, just keep being busy, achieving, but it's really to our own detriment, I think.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's changing, Rati, in the world? Do you think
definitely in our circles it is. Yeah. So hopefully we can have a ripple effect, and they say if you want to change the world, change yourself.
Sure.
So I mean, the more people can do that, the more benefit the rest of humanity.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Fantastic, Rati. I think that might be a great way to end it on. Meditate, people, rest, do whatever it is. But there's definitely lots of, and especially if you think about meditating and you've always found it hard to do, there's lots of different little things you can find online, like guided meditations. Actually, can I ask you one final question? What do you think about those YouTube yoga online YouTube clips and their effectiveness or disadvantages?
If you know what you're doing.
Right. If you've had a yoga practice before.
Yes, and then you don't need to correct the postures, because the postures are very beneficial, but can also be detrimental if you don't have the correct alignment. So if you feel confident within your postures, then it's great. It's a great way, And also if you have recorded voice that can give you the instructions to align the body.
So just audio only, do you mean?
Audio only, but also like if the video has a good audio instruction attached to it, then it can be useful. I've used it, but I have 11 years experience, and I know what I'm doing.
Sure.
I know that I won't hurt myself. It's really important to be aware of that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, fascinating, Rati. Thank you very much for time. Just so wanted to get you on this podcast for a long time, and perhaps we can talk about this on another podcast. But we didn't really look at your work with like both music and yoga together, which is something you did a bit of work with in India last year.
Yeah,
I know you want to do some more in the future, so perhaps we can do that as the Rati part 2.
Okay.
So thank you very much, sister.
Thank you.
Love you so much. Just such a blessing in my life. So to have you here as well, it's just fantastic. So thank you.
Excellent.
And thank you very much, everyone else out there. And like I said, if you ever wanted to look at getting into some meditation, yoga, I was definitely one of those people that felt like it was unneeded, or perhaps I wasn't going to get any benefit out of it, but yeah, the physical, mental resilience you get from yoga especially, and the benefits with meditation as well, like really just taking yourself out of the way and just being clear is just so beneficial. I can't even explain. So yeah, see how you go, everyone. But yeah, thanks very much, and we'll see you next time.